Welcome to the channel. We're so glad you're here. We love you, and God bless you more. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update or new video from us. Stay tuned until the very end, because what you're about to watch might just be the breakthrough you've been paying for. Let's dive in together. You don't want to miss this.
Jude, you should have stayed silent and not said anything to that man.
But Pastor, I don't understand. Why do I need to be quiet when someone is provoking me? Shouldn't I defend myself?
The true strength of a man is not in his ability to fight back with words, but in his ability to remain silent in moments of anger. Silence is power.
Silence is power. How?
There are 7 times you should stay silent no matter what. 1. When you are angry. When you are angry, silence is often the wisest choice you can make. Anger is a powerful emotion, and when left unchecked, it can lead to words that wound, accusations that aren't fully thought through, and irreversible damage to relationships. In the heat of the moment, your mind is not focused on wisdom, patience, or understanding. It is focused on releasing frustration. But words spoken in anger are like arrows shot without aim. Once they leave your lips, you can't take them back. That's why choosing silence when you're angry is not a sign of weakness, but of immense strength and self-control. The Bible warns about the dangers of speaking in anger. Proverbs 29:11 says, "A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back." This verse highlights a key truth. It takes wisdom to hold back words when emotions are running high. A fool speaks recklessly, letting anger control their tongue, but a wise person knows that silence allows them to regain control before saying something they'll regret. When emotions are intense, silence gives you time to cool down, reflect, and see the situation from a clearer perspective. It allows you to ask yourself, will my words build or destroy? Will they bring peace or fuel more anger? Many conflicts escalate because both sides speak before thinking, but choosing to stay silent in the moment of anger can prevent unnecessary damage. Jesus himself demonstrated the power of silence when he was falsely accused before his crucifixion. In Matthew 27:12-14, when the chief priests and elders accused him, he remained silent. He could have responded in anger, defended himself, or condemned his accusers, but he chose silence. His response wasn't from weakness but from wisdom. He knew that some battles are won not by words but by restraint. In everyday life, staying silent when angry can save marriages, friendships, and even professional relationships. Instead of reacting immediately, step away, pray, and allow your emotions to settle. When you do speak, your words will be filled with wisdom rather than regret. Silence and anger is not about suppressing emotions, it's about channeling them into something constructive rather than destructive. 2. When someone wants to argue instead of listen. When someone wants to argue instead of listen, engaging with them often leads nowhere but deeper into conflict. Some people don't enter conversations with the intention of understanding. They come with their minds already made up, seeking to prove a point, win an argument, or stir up strife. Responding to such individuals only fuels their aggression, turning what could have been a meaningful discussion into a battle of words. This is why silence is often the most powerful response. It disarms them, takes away their control, and keeps you from being dragged into unnecessary conflict. The Bible warns against engaging in fruitless arguments. Proverbs 26:4 states, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." This verse is a reminder that some arguments are simply not worth participating in. When someone is arguing not to understand but to provoke, answering them on their level only pulls you into their negativity. Instead of proving anything, you end up frustrated, drained, and sometimes even saying things you regret. Jesus himself demonstrated the power of silence in the face of those who only wanted to argue. When the Pharisees constantly tried to trap him with tricky questions, he often responded with wisdom or chose silence instead of engaging in their fruitless debates. Matthew 22:15-22. He understood that no matter how perfectly he answered, their hearts were closed. They weren't looking for truth. They were looking for a fight. In everyday life, we encounter people like this, those who twist words, refuse to listen, and are more interested in proving themselves right than seeking truth. Engaging with them often leads to wasted energy and emotional exhaustion. When you recognize that someone is more interested in arguing than listening, silence can be your best defense. It sends a clear message: I refuse to be part of a battle that leads nowhere. This doesn't mean you should never defend yourself or stand up for the truth. There are times when a well-placed response is necessary. However, there is great wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Silence is not weakness. It is a sign of emotional maturity and wisdom. It shows that you value peace over pride, wisdom over unnecessary conflict. 3. When you are in the midst of envious and jealous people. When you are in the midst of envious and jealous people, silence can be your greatest protection. Not everyone will celebrate your success, and some will secretly resent your progress. When people carry jealousy in their hearts, your victories, no matter how small, can make them feel threatened. Instead of being genuinely happy for you, they may try to downplay your achievements, criticize you, or even sabotage your progress. This is why it is often wise to keep quiet and let your actions, rather than your words, speak for themselves. The Bible gives us a powerful example of this in the story of Joseph. In Genesis 37, 5-11, Joseph innocently shared his dreams of greatness with his brothers, but instead of being happy for him, they became envious and plotted against him. What should have been a moment of excitement turned into years of suffering for Joseph. His story teaches us a crucial lesson: not everyone is meant to know what God is doing in your life. Some people will use that knowledge to harm you rather than to support you. Jealousy often leads people to spread negativity. They may subtly discourage you, speak against you behind your back, or even try to block your progress. This is why silence is sometimes the best response. When you avoid announcing every success, you protect yourself from unnecessary opposition. Instead of speaking about your plans, let your results speak for you. Proverbs 17:28 says, "Even a fool, when he keeps silent, is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent." Holding back certain details about your life is not about secrecy, it's about wisdom. Jesus himself demonstrated this wisdom. Though he performed miracles, he often instructed people not to tell others. Mark 1:43-45. He knew that revealing too much too soon could invite unnecessary opposition. Likewise, we must be discerning about whom we share our victories with. Some people are encouragers, but others are detractors. Knowing the difference can save you from disappointment and unnecessary battles. This does not mean you should live in fear or hide your blessings. It simply means that wisdom requires discernment. Celebrate your success, but do so wisely. Surround yourself with people who genuinely support you, and when you are in the presence of envy and jealousy, let your success be seen, not spoken. In the end, your actions will testify louder than any words ever could. 4. When you don't have all the facts. Speaking without all the facts can lead to serious consequences, misunderstandings, embarrassment, and even damage to relationships. In a world where people are quick to give opinions, assume intentions, and make judgments, the ability to hold your tongue until you fully understand a situation is a rare but powerful skill. Words, once spoken, cannot be taken back, and when they are based on incomplete or inaccurate information, they can cause unnecessary harm. That's why it's always wiser to listen first, gather the facts, and then speak with clarity and wisdom. The Bible warns us about the dangers of speaking too quickly. Proverbs 18:13 says, "He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him." This verse highlights a simple truth: responding without full understanding is foolish and can lead to shame. How many times have people jumped to conclusions, only to later realize they were completely wrong? Spreading false information, even unintentionally, can destroy trust and credibility. A great example of this is found in the story of Job. When Job faced intense suffering, his friends quickly assumed they knew the cause. Instead of listening, they accused him of hidden sin, believing that his misfortune was God's punishment. However, they lacked full knowledge of what was happening behind the scenes. Satan had been allowed to test Job, but God still considered him righteous. Because Job's friends spoke without all the facts, they misrepresented God and deeply hurt Job. In the end, God rebuked them, showing that their words had been reckless. Job 42, 7-9. This serves as a powerful lesson. When we don't fully understand a situation, it's better to remain silent than to risk speaking wrongly. In everyday life, speaking without full knowledge can lead to embarrassment. Imagine commenting on a situation at work without knowing all the details, only to later realize your assumption was wrong. Or worse, repeating a rumor about someone, only to find out it was completely false. Words spoken carelessly can damage reputations, hurt feelings, and create unnecessary conflict. But when you take time to listen, verify information, and think before you speak, you demonstrate wisdom and maturity. James 1:19 gives a simple yet powerful principle: everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. This verse reminds us that listening should always come first. A wise person seeks understanding before giving an opinion. Instead of rushing to speak, take a moment to gather the facts, pray for discernment, and then choose your words carefully. 5. When your words won't improve the situation. There are times when silence is more powerful than words, especially when what you're about to say will not improve the situation. In moments of tension, grief, or uncertainty, speaking just for the sake of speaking can sometimes do more harm than good. Words have the power to heal or hurt, to build up or tear down, and to bring clarity or confusion. If what you're about to say doesn't add value, encourage someone, or help solve a problem, then wisdom suggests it may be better left unsaid. The Bible teaches us the importance of using our words wisely. Proverbs 17:27-28 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered." Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. This means that sometimes, saying nothing is actually a sign of wisdom. People often feel pressured to fill silence with words, but unnecessary words can sometimes escalate a conflict, deepen a wound, or create misunderstandings. A great biblical example of this is found in the story of Job. After losing everything, his wealth, his health, and his family, Job's friends came to comfort him. At first, they sat with him in silence for 7 days, which was a wise and compassionate response, Job 2:13. However, when they finally began to speak, they ended up accusing Job, misrepresenting God, and making his suffering even worse. If they had continued to remain silent rather than offering misguided explanations, they would have been better friends. This shows that sometimes, the best way to support someone is not with words, but with presence and understanding. In daily life, there are many situations where silence is the best response. If a conversation is turning into gossip, staying quiet helps you avoid participating in slander. If someone is venting their frustration and only needs a listening ear, offering unsolicited advice might not be helpful. If emotions are high in an argument, responding immediately without careful thought can escalate the situation. Choosing to remain silent in these moments doesn't mean you're weak or indifferent, it means you are exercising wisdom and self-control. James 1:26 gives a strong warning: those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Our words reflect our hearts, and if we speak carelessly, we risk damaging our integrity in relationships. Instead, we should strive to be intentional with our words, making sure they uplift, guide, and bring peace rather than chaos.
This is a great lesson to me, Pastor. My inability to control my mouth has landed me in serious trouble. I see now that if I had remained silent, things wouldn't have escalated the way they did.
Yes, silence is powerful. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. When you master the art of silence, you gain control over your emotions, your words, and ultimately, your destiny.
Thank you, Pastor. I will learn to embrace the power of silence.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.